Once upon a time, in a land shrouded in eternal twilight, there reigned a queen of unparalleled beauty and malevolence. Her name was Morgana, and she was feared throughout the kingdom for her ruthless ambition and mastery of dark magic. Morgana's rise to power had been swift and brutal, her enemies falling one by one to her cunning and sorcery. She had a singular goal: to conquer the world and reign supreme over all. From a young age, Morgana had shown a natural affinity for magic. Her parents, the king and queen, were delighted at first, seeing their daughter as a prodigy. However, as her powers grew, so did her appetite for control. She delved into forbidden texts and ancient tomes, seeking out the darkest spells and rituals. Her once luminous eyes turned cold and calculating, and her laughter, once sweet and melodic, became a chilling echo in the castle halls. Morgana's first act of true darkness came when she was just 16. Displeased with her parents' rule, she used a potion of her own creation to poison them both, claiming the throne for herself. The court was thrown into chaos, but none dared oppose her. She quickly established her dominance, surrounding herself with loyal sycophants and silencing any who spoke against her. With the throne secured, Morgana turned her attention to expanding her realm. She summoned forth legions of shadowy creatures from the netherworld, binding them to her will. These dark minions carried out her orders with terrifying efficiency, spreading fear and death wherever they went. Villages were razed, towns decimated, and entire armies fell before her might. But Morgana's ambition knew no bounds. She sought to harness even greater power, and for that, she needed the legendary Black Grimoire. This ancient tome was said to contain the secrets of the universe, granting its possessor godlike abilities. Morgana's spies scoured the land for any hint of its location, while she continued her conquests. The kingdom's bravest knights and most powerful wizards tried to stand against her, but all fell to her dark magic. Morgana reveled in their destruction, drawing strength from their despair. She erected a great black tower in the heart of her capital, a monument to her power and a conduit for her dark energies. From its peak, she could cast her malevolent gaze across the land, watching as her dominion grew. Despite her formidable powers, Morgana knew she was not invincible. There were still pockets of resistance, hidden enclaves of rebels who defied her rule. She dispatched her most trusted lieutenants to root them out, offering bounties for their heads. Yet, the rebels proved elusive, always staying one step ahead. In a desperate bid to crush the rebellion, Morgana turned to even darker magic. She sacrificed the souls of her most loyal followers, binding their essence into a powerful spell of scrying. Through this, she was able to locate the rebel stronghold, hidden deep within the Forest of Whispers. She gathered her forces and marched upon the forest, determined to end the resistance once and for all. The battle that ensued was fierce and bloody. Morgana's dark creatures clashed with the rebels in a cacophony of steel and sorcery. The forest itself seemed to fight against her, the trees and wildlife resisting her incursion. But Morgana's power was too great, and slowly but surely she pushed forward. As she reached the heart of the rebel camp, Morgana came face to face with their leader, a warrior named Lyra. Lyra was a formidable opponent, her sword blazing with enchanted fire. The two clashed in a duel that shook the very ground beneath them. Sparks flew, and magic crackled as they fought, each blow echoing with the force of their wills. Despite Lyra's valiant efforts, she was no match for Morgana's dark magic. With a final, devastating spell, Morgana struck her down, the rebel leader's lifeless body falling to the ground. The remaining rebels, seeing their leader defeated, scattered into the forest, their spirit broken. Morgana stood victorious, her dark magic swirling around her like a tempest. She had crushed the rebellion, cementing her rule over the kingdom. But even this was not enough to satisfy her. She turned her gaze to the horizon, her eyes burning with ambition. The world was vast, and there were still many lands beyond her reach. She would not rest until all bowed before her. As the sun set over the blood-soaked battlefield, Morgana began to chant an incantation. The air grew heavy with power as she called upon the spirits of the fallen, binding them to her will. One by one, the souls of her enemies rose from the ground, their ghostly forms taking shape. She had created an army of the dead, bound to serve her in life and death. With her new army at her command, Morgana set her sights on the neighboring kingdoms. She would march forth, her legions of darkness sweeping across the land like a plague. No one would be able to stand against her, and the world would tremble beneath her iron fist. And so, the Dark Queen's conquest began in earnest. Her armies of the dead spread terror and destruction, leaving nothing but ash and ruin in their wake. Morgana reveled in her power, her laughter echoing through the night as she brought the world to its knees. Volume 2. Morgana's campaign of terror continued unabated. Kingdom after kingdom fell before her, their rulers either bowing in submission or facing her wrath. The world seemed powerless to stop her, and fear gripped the hearts of all who heard her name. Morgana's reputation as the Dark Queen spread far and wide, her legend growing with each passing day. In the heart of her dark tower, Morgana conducted rituals of unspeakable power. She drew upon the energy of the souls she had claimed, using their essence to fuel her spells. Her magic grew stronger with each conquest, her influence spreading like a dark cloud across the land. The sky itself seemed to darken in her presence, as if nature itself recoiled from her malevolence. Despite her victories, Morgana remained ever vigilant. She knew that her enemies were always plotting against her, seeking to undermine her rule. She had spies and informants in every court, their loyalty ensured by fear of her wrath. But even so, she could not afford to let her guard down. Her hunger for power drove her to ever greater lengths, her ambition consuming her like a fire. One night, as Morgana gazed into her scrying mirror, she saw a vision that filled her with both excitement and dread. The Black Grimoire, the legendary tome of ultimate power, had been found. It was hidden in a secret vault beneath the Temple of Light, a place of ancient magic and formidable defenses. To claim the grimoire would be the final step in her quest for absolute power, but it would also be her greatest challenge. Morgana wasted no time. She gathered her most trusted advisors and formulated a plan. The Temple of Light was a sacred place, guarded by powerful wards and the most skilled warriors of the realm. To breach its defenses would require cunning and strength in equal measure. Morgana would need to call upon every ounce of her dark magic to succeed. Under the cover of night, Morgana and her elite guard set out for the temple. The journey was long and perilous, taking them through treacherous terrain and hostile territory. But Morgana was undeterred, her eyes fixed on the prize that awaited her. She could feel the power of the Black Grimoire calling to her, its dark energy resonating with her own. As they approached the temple, Morgana cast a spell of invisibility over her party. They moved like shadows through the night, unseen and unheard. The temple's guardians were vigilant, but they could not detect the presence of the Dark Queen and her minions. Morgana's heart raced with anticipation as they reached the temple's entrance, a massive stone door inscribed with ancient runes. With a wave of her hand, Morgana dispelled the wards protecting the door, The ancient magic resisted her for a moment, but her power was too great. The runes faded, and the door swung open with a groan. Inside, the temple was bathed in a soft, ethereal light, the air thick with the scent of incense. Morgana could feel the presence of powerful magic all around her, a stark contrast to the dark energy she wielded. Moving swiftly and silently, Morgana led her party through the temple's labyrinthine corridors. They encountered traps and guardians at every turn, but Morgana's magic saw them through. She disabled wards, neutralized enchantments, and dispatched the temple's defenders with ruthless efficiency. Nothing would stand in her way. Finally, they reached the inner sanctum, a vast chamber filled with golden light. At the center of the room stood the black grimoire, resting on a pedestal of pure crystal. Morgana could feel its power radiating through the air, a dark pulse that resonated with her very soul. She approached the pedestal, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she reached out to claim the grimoire, a blinding flash of light filled the chamber. Morgana recoiled, shielding her eyes. When the light faded, she found herself face to face with the high priestess of the temple, a woman of extraordinary beauty and power. The priestess's eyes blazed with righteous fury as she raised her staff, casting a spell of incredible potency. Morgana barely had time to react. She summoned a shield of dark energy, deflecting the spell, but the force of the blast sent her stumbling back. The high priestess advanced, her staff crackling with divine power. Morgana could feel the strength of her opponent, a force of light to rival her own darkness. The battle that followed was fierce and brutal. Spells clashed in a dazzling display of magic, light and dark energies colliding with explosive force. Morgana's elite guard tried to intervene, but the high priestess's magic was too powerful. She dispatched them with ease, focusing her full attention on Morgana. Despite the high priestess's power, Morgana refused to back down. She drew upon the full extent of her dark magic, unleashing spells of devastating force. The chamber shook with the intensity of their duel, the very air crackling with energy. Morgana could feel the strain on her body, but she pushed through the pain, her determination unwavering. With a final, desperate effort, Morgana unleashed a spell of unparalleled darkness. The room was engulfed in shadow. The light of the temple snuffed out in an instant. The high priestess cried out in pain as the darkness consumed her, her power fading. Morgana advanced, her eyes burning with triumph. As the high priestess fell to her knees, Morgana reached out and claimed the black grimoire. The moment her fingers touched its cover, she felt a surge of power unlike anything she had ever experienced. The grimoire's dark energy flowed into her, filling her with a sense of invincibility. She had done it. She had claimed the ultimate power. With the grimoire in her possession, Morgana's conquest was all but assured. She returned to her dark tower, her army of the dead following in her wake. The world would bow before her, and she would reign supreme as the Dark Queen. No one could stand against her now. And so, Morgana's dark reign continued, her power growing with each passing day. The world trembled beneath her iron fist, her enemies falling one by one. But even as she reveled in her triumph, a sense of unease gnawed at her. The black grimoire's power was vast, but it came with a price. Morgana could feel its dark influence seeping into her soul, whispering dark promises and terrible truths. She knew that her quest for power was far from over. There were still many challenges ahead, and many enemies who sought to bring her down. But Morgana was prepared. She had the black grimoire, and with it, she would conquer the world. Nothing would stand in her way. Morgana's power continued to grow, but so did the unrest among her subjects. The people of her kingdom, lived in constant fear, their lives overshadowed by the darkness that emanated from her dark tower. Whispers of rebellion grew louder, and secret gatherings were held in the dead of night, where brave souls plotted to overthrow the Dark Queen. Despite the fear she instilled, Morgana was not blind to the discontent. She knew that ruling through fear alone was unsustainable. She needed to maintain control, to keep the people subdued. To that end, she devised a plan to solidify her rule and eliminate any threats to her power. Morgana summoned her most loyal advisors, a cabal of dark sorcerers and warriors who had proven their loyalty through acts of unspeakable cruelty. Together, they devised a plan to root out the rebels and crush any hope of resistance. Morgana's spies infiltrated the secret gatherings, identifying the leaders and gathering information. With the rebels' identities revealed, Morgana unleashed her fury. Her dark minions swept through the kingdom, dragging suspected rebels from their homes and executing them in the streets. The people watched in horror as their neighbors were torn apart by Morgana's creatures, their screams echoing through the night. The message was clear: any defiance would be met with brutal retribution. But Morgana's cruelty only served to fan the flames of rebellion. The people grew more desperate, their hatred for the Dark Queen burning brighter. They began to look for a champion, someone who could stand against Morgana and lead them to freedom. Their prayers were answered in the form of a young sorceress named Elora. Elora was a prodigy, her magic rivaling that of Morgana herself. She had been trained in the ancient arts by a secret order of wizards who had long opposed Morgana's rule. They had hidden Elora from the Dark Queen's gaze, preparing her for the day when she would confront the tyrant and free the kingdom from her grasp. Elora's rise was swift and inspiring. She rallied the people to her cause, promising them a future free from Morgana's tyranny. Her magic was a beacon of hope, and her presence invigorated the hearts of the downtrodden. News of her deeds spread like wildfire, and soon she had amassed a formidable force ready to challenge the Dark Queen. Morgana was infuriated by the audacity of this young sorceress. She saw Elora as a direct threat to her rule, and a symbol of everything she despised: hope, courage, and the will to resist. Determined to crush this new rebellion, Morgana doubled down on her efforts. She unleashed even darker magic, summoning creatures from the deepest pits of the netherworld. These monstrosities, twisted and hideous, were bound to her will and served as her personal enforcers. Elora and her forces moved strategically, avoiding direct confrontation with Morgana's dark legions. They struck where the Dark Queen was weakest, liberating villages and towns under her oppressive rule. With each victory, Elora's legend grew, and more people joined her cause. Morgana's frustration grew with each passing day, her fury manifesting in increasingly brutal reprisals. In her dark tower, Morgana consulted the Black Grimoire, seeking new ways to enhance her power and crush Elora. The grimoire whispered dark secrets to her, offering forbidden knowledge in exchange for ever greater sacrifices. Morgana, blinded by her ambition and hatred, willingly paid the price, delving deeper into the abyss of dark magic. Meanwhile, Elora discovered a weakness in Morgana's defenses. The Black Grimoire, the source of Morgana's enhanced power, was also her greatest vulnerability. If the grimoire could be destroyed or its connection to Morgana severed, the Dark Queen's power would be greatly diminished. Armed with this knowledge, Elora devised a daring plan to infiltrate Morgana's tower and destroy the grimoire. Under the cover of night, Elora and a small group of her most trusted allies made their way to Morgana's tower. The journey was perilous, the landscape around the tower twisted and corrupted by Morgana's dark magic. As they approached, Elora cast a spell of concealment, hiding them from the tower's many eyes. Inside the tower, Morgana was deep in her rituals, drawing power from the grimoire. She was unaware of the intruders creeping ever closer. Ilara's heart pounded in her chest as they ascended the tower's winding staircase, the air growing colder and more oppressive with each step. They encountered numerous traps and guardians, but Ilara's magic saw them through, her determination unwavering. Finally, they reached the chamber where the black grimoire was kept. It sat upon a pedestal of obsidian, surrounded by a swirling vortex of dark energy. Elora could feel its malevolent presence, a palpable force that sought to corrupt her very soul. She steeled herself, knowing that this was their only chance. As Elora prepared to cast the spell to sever Morgana's connection to the grimoire, the chamber door burst open. Morgana stood there, her eyes blazing with fury. She had sensed the intrusion and come to confront her nemesis. The two sorceresses faced each other, their power crackling in the air like a storm. "You dare to challenge me in my own domain," Morgana hissed, her voice dripping with venom. "I dare to end your reign of terror," Elora replied, her voice steady and resolute. The battle that ensued was epic in scale. Spells of incredible power clashed, filling the chamber with blinding light and deafening thunder. Morgana's dark magic was formidable, but Ilara's determination and the hope she carried gave her an edge. As the duel raged on, Ilara's allies fought off Morgana's minions, holding them at bay. In a moment of pure focus, Ilara managed to cast the spell she had prepared. A beam of pure, radiant energy shot from her hands, striking the black grimoire. The dark energy surrounding the book faltered, and a shriek of agony filled the room as Morgana's connection to the grimoire was severed. The book exploded in a burst of dark light, its power dissipating into the ether. Morgana screamed in rage and pain, her strength waning as the source of her power was destroyed. Ilara seized the opportunity, casting a binding spell that wrapped Morgana in chains of light. The Dark Queen struggled, but her power was broken. The chamber fell silent, the oppressive darkness lifting. With Morgana defeated, Ilara and her allies emerged from the tower, the dawn breaking on a new day. The news of Morgana's fall spread quickly, and the people rejoiced. Ilara was hailed as a hero, the savior who had freed the kingdom from the Dark Queen's tyranny. Morgana was imprisoned in a magical cell, her dark powers bound and her reign of terror ended. But even in captivity, Morgana's hatred burned bright. She vowed that one day she would escape and reclaim her throne. The world might have been freed from her grasp, but the shadow of the Dark Queen would linger, a reminder of the darkness that had once threatened to consume all. Years passed, and the kingdom flourished under Ilara's wise and just rule. The scars of Morgana's reign slowly healed, and the people began to rebuild their lives. Ilara dedicated herself to promoting peace and prosperity, her leadership marked by compassion and strength. The memory of Morgana's tyranny became a cautionary tale, a dark chapter in the kingdom's history. But Morgana's spirit remained unbroken. Her hatred festered in the confines of her magical prison, her mind constantly plotting her escape. She knew that she could not remain captive forever. The magical bindings that held her were strong, but they were not infallible. Morgana bided her time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the depths of her prison, Morgana discovered a hidden reservoir of dark magic. The Black Grimoire had left a lingering residue of its power within her, a connection that she could still tap into. Slowly and carefully, she began to siphon this power, using it to weaken the bindings that held her. It was a painstaking process, but Morgana was nothing if not patient. Meanwhile, Ilara remained vigilant. She knew that Morgana was not one to give up easily, and she kept a close watch on the Dark Queen's prison. Despite her vigilance, she could not prevent the growing unease that spread through the kingdom. Rumors of dark omens and strange occurrences began to circulate, and a sense of foreboding hung in the air. One fateful night, Morgana's efforts bore fruit. The magical bindings that held her weakened just enough for her to break free. With a surge of dark energy, she shattered her prison and emerged into the world once more. The land itself seemed to tremble at her return, the skies darkening as if in recognition of the evil that had been unleashed. Morgana wasted no time. She summoned her dark minions, creatures of shadow and nightmare, and began to rebuild her power. The people of the kingdom were caught off guard, their sense of security shattered by Morgana's sudden return. Panic spread like wildfire as the Dark Queen's forces marched across the land, leaving destruction in their wake. Illyra rallied her forces, determined to stop Morgana once and for all. She knew that this time the battle would be even more difficult. Morgana's hatred and thirst for vengeance had only grown stronger, and her connection to the remnants of the Black Grimoire's power made her even more dangerous. Illyra had to find a way to defeat Morgana permanently, to ensure that the Dark Queen could never threaten the kingdom again. In her search for answers, Illyra turned to the ancient texts and prophecies that had guided her in the past. She discovered a prophecy that spoke of a final confrontation between light and dark, a battle that would decide the fate of the world. The prophecy mentioned a sacred artifact, the Heart of Light, which had the power to vanquish even the darkest of evils. Illyra set out on a quest to find the Heart of Light, accompanied by a select group of loyal companions. Their journey took them through treacherous landscapes, ancient ruins, and hidden sanctuaries. Along the way, they faced numerous trials and challenges, testing their resolve and determination. But Illyra's spirit remained unyielding, her belief in the prophecy guiding her every step. Meanwhile, Morgana's forces continued to spread across the kingdom, their darkness consuming everything in their path. Morgana reveled in her newfound freedom, her power growing with each passing day. She knew that Illyra would come for her, but she welcomed the challenge. This time, she would not be defeated. After many hardships and trials, Illyra and her companions finally discovered the Heart of Light. It was hidden in a sacred grove, protected by ancient guardians. The artifact pulsed with a radiant energy, its power pure and untainted. Illyra could feel its light resonating with her own magic, filling her with a renewed sense of hope. With the Heart of Light in her possession, Illyra returned to the kingdom to confront Morgana. The final battle was fought on the plains before Morgana's Dark Tower, a clash of light and darkness that shook the very foundations of the world. Morgana's dark minions swarmed the battlefield, but Illyra and her forces held their ground, the Heart of Light shining like a beacon in the midst of the chaos. Illyra and Morgana faced each other once more, their magic crackling in the air. Morgana's eyes burned with hatred, while Illyra's gaze was steady and resolute. The two sorceresses unleashed their full power, spells of unimaginable force colliding in a dazzling display of light and dark. The ground trembled, and the sky seemed to split as their magic clashed. In the midst of the battle, Illyra called upon the power of the Heart of Light. A blinding radiance enveloped her, her magic merging with the artifact's pure energy. She directed the full force of this power at Morgana, the light piercing through the darkness. Morgana screamed in defiance, her dark magic struggling against the overwhelming light. But the Heart of Light's power was too great. It consumed Morgana's darkness, purging the evil from her very soul. With a final, anguished cry, Morgana was enveloped in the light, her form dissolving into nothingness. The dark tower crumbled, the ground shaking as the darkness was banished from the land. As the light faded, Illyra stood victorious. The people of the kingdom erupted in cheers, their joy and relief palpable. The dark shadow that had loomed over them for so long was finally lifted. Morgana's reign of terror was over, her dark legacy vanquished. Illyra knew that the kingdom would still face challenges, but she was confident that they could overcome them. With the heart of light, she had shown that even the darkest of evils could be defeated. The kingdom would rebuild, and a new era of peace and prosperity would begin. Illyra's name would be remembered as the hero who saved them from the Dark Queen, a beacon of hope and light in a world that had once been shrouded in darkness. Peace had returned to the kingdom, but the scars of Morgana's reign were slow to heal. Illyra worked tirelessly to restore what had been lost. Her efforts focused on rebuilding communities and mending the fabric of society. The people looked to her for guidance and inspiration, and she did her best to live up to their expectations. Yet, even in times of peace, the shadows of the past lingered. Morgana's defeat had not erased the memories of her tyranny. Survivors of her atrocities struggled to find a sense of normalcy. Haunted by the horrors they had witnessed, Illyra established support networks and aid programs to help them, but she knew that some wounds could never fully heal. The kingdom's unity was fragile, and it would take time for trust to be fully restored. Illyra also faced personal challenges. Her role as the kingdom's savior had come at a great cost. The battles she had fought, both physical and emotional, had left their mark. She often found herself reflecting on the prophecy and the heart of light, wondering if her destiny was truly fulfilled. The burden of leadership weighed heavily on her, but she remained steadfast in her commitment to the people. One day, while tending to her duties, Illyra received a message from an old ally. It was from the secret order of wizards, who had trained her, summoning her to a remote sanctuary. They had important news to share, something that could not be conveyed through written words. Illyra heeded the call, her curiosity and sense of duty compelling her to make the journey. The sanctuary was hidden deep within an ancient forest, its location known only to a select few. Illyra was greeted by the elder wizards, their expressions grave. They led her to a secluded chamber, where they revealed a startling revelation. The Heart of Light, the artifact that had vanquished Morgana, was not the only source of its kind. There were other hearts, scattered across the world, each with its own unique power. The wizards explained that these hearts were ancient relics, created by a long-forgotten civilization to maintain the balance between light and dark. Morgana's use of the Black Grimoire had disrupted this balance, and the other hearts were now awakening in response. Each heart held immense power, but they could also be corrupted if they fell into the wrong hands. Illyra understood the gravity of the situation. The kingdom might have been saved from Morgana, but the world was still vulnerable. She realized that her journey was far from over. She had to find the remaining hearts and ensure that they were protected. The fate of the world depended on it. With a renewed sense of purpose, Illyra set out on a new quest. She traveled to distant lands, facing new challenges and forging alliances with those who sought to protect the balance. Along the way, she encountered individuals who had been touched by the heart's power, both for good and ill. Some sought to use the hearts for their own gain, while others dedicated themselves to preserving their purity. Illyra's journey was long and arduous, filled with trials that tested her resolve and strength. She battled dark sorcerers, confronted ancient guardians, and uncovered long-buried secrets. The hearts of light revealed their mysteries to her. each one adding to her understanding of the delicate balance between light and dark. As Elora collected the hearts, she also learned more about herself. She discovered hidden depths of her own power, as well as the strength that came from her connections with others. The friendships she formed along the way became a source of support and inspiration, reminding her that she was never alone in her quest. But even as Elora made progress, a new threat emerged. A cult of dark sorcerers, drawn to the power of the hearts, began to rise. They sought to harness the heart's energy for their own sinister purposes, believing that they could achieve ultimate power. Their leader, a cunning and ruthless sorcerer named Malachi, was determined to succeed where Morgana had failed. Malachi was a master manipulator, using fear and deception to amass followers and spread chaos. He believed that the hearts of light were the key to his ascension, and he would stop at nothing to obtain them. Elora found herself in a race against time, as she struggled to stay one step ahead of Malachi's forces. The final confrontation between Elora and Malachi took place in the heart of an ancient, mystical city. The air was thick with tension, the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Malachi had managed to acquire several of the hearts, and the dark energy pulsed through him, making him more powerful than Morgana had ever been. Elora faced Malachi in a battle that would determine the future of light and dark. Their magic clashed in a storm of energy, the city itself trembling under the force of their spells. Malachi's power was immense, but Elora's determination and the purity of the hearts she carried gave her the strength to stand against him. With a final, desperate effort, Elora unleashed the combined power of the hearts. A blinding light enveloped the battlefield, its radiance purging the darkness from Malachi's soul. He screamed in agony as the heart's power consumed him, his form dissolving into nothingness. The dark sorcerers who had followed him scattered, their leaders' defeat breaking their will. As the light faded, Elora stood victorious once more. The city was silent, the air cleared of the dark energy that had plagued it. The hearts of light, now united, pulsed with a gentle glow. Elora knew that her journey was not yet over, but she had taken a crucial step in protecting the balance. Returning to the kingdom, Elora was greeted with celebration and gratitude. The people hailed her as a hero, their savior and protector. Elora knew that the road ahead would still be challenging, but she was ready to face whatever came next. She had the hearts of light, the support of her allies, and the unwavering belief that light would always prevail over darkness. In the years that followed Malachi's defeat, Elora dedicated herself to safeguarding the hearts of light and maintaining the balance between light and dark. The kingdom entered a new era of peace and prosperity, the memory of Morgana and Malachi fading into legend. Elora's leadership continued to inspire the people, her wisdom and compassion guiding them through times of both triumph and trial. Elora established a council of guardians, chosen from the most skilled and trustworthy individuals she had encountered on her journey. These guardians were tasked with protecting the hearts of light and ensuring that their power was used for the greater good. The council became a symbol of hope and unity, a testament to the strength that came from working together. As Elora's influence grew, so did her understanding of the world and its mysteries. She delved into ancient texts and prophecies, seeking to uncover the secrets of the hearts and the civilization that had created them. Her studies revealed a rich tapestry of history, filled with stories of heroes and villains, of great battles and profound discoveries. One day, Elora came across a prophecy that spoke of a hidden heart of light, one that held a power unlike any other. This heart, known as the Eternal Flame, was said to be the source of all light and life in the world. It was hidden in a place known only to the most ancient and wise, protected by powerful enchantments and guardians. Illyra knew that finding the eternal flame would be a monumental task, but she felt a deep calling to pursue it. She gathered her most trusted guardians and set out on a new quest, leaving the kingdom in the capable hands of her council. Their journey took them to the farthest reaches of the world, through treacherous mountains, dense forests, and vast deserts. Along the way, they encountered new allies and enemies, each with their own stories and motivations. Illyra's leadership and the unity of her group were tested time and again, but their bond remained unbreakable. They faced numerous trials, each one more challenging than the last, but Illyra's determination and the power of the hearts guided them forward. After many months of searching, they finally reached the hidden sanctuary, where the eternal flame was kept. The sanctuary was a place of awe-inspiring beauty, its walls adorned with intricate carvings and shimmering with an otherworldly light. At its center stood the eternal flame, a brilliant beacon of pure energy that radiated warmth and life. As Illyra approached the eternal flame, she felt a profound sense of connection. The flame resonated with her very soul, its light filling her with a sense of peace and purpose. She knew that this was the culmination of her journey, the final piece of the puzzle that would ensure the balance between light and dark. But as Illyra reached out to touch the eternal flame, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. It was a sorceress named Lilith, a dark mage who had been drawn to the flame's power. Lilith had her own twisted vision of the world, one where darkness reigned supreme and the light was extinguished forever. Lilith challenged Illyra, determined to seize the power of the eternal flame for herself. The two sorceresses clashed in a battle that shook the very foundations of the sanctuary. Their magic filled the air with crackling energy, the light of the eternal flame flickering under the strain. Illyra called upon the power of the hearts of light, their combined energy surging through her. She knew that she could not allow Lilith to succeed, for the fate of the world hung in the balance. With a final, desperate effort, Illyra unleashed a spell of unimaginable power, directed at the eternal flame. The flame responded, its light blazing with an intensity that drove back the darkness. Lilith screamed in fury and pain as the light consumed her, her dark magic unraveling under its brilliance. The sanctuary trembled, the walls cracking as the light and dark forces clashed one last time. When the light finally faded, Illyra stood alone. Lilith was gone, her dark presence erased from the world. The eternal flame pulsed gently, its light now pure and untainted. Illyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that she had protected the ultimate source of light and life. Returning to the kingdom, Illyra was greeted with celebration and relief. The people rejoiced at her return, their faith in her stronger than ever. Illyra shared the story of the eternal flame and the trials she had faced, inspiring the kingdom with her courage and determination. With the eternal flame secured, Illyra knew that her journey was complete. She had fulfilled her destiny, protecting the world from the forces of darkness and ensuring the balance of light. The kingdom would thrive, guided by the principles of unity, hope, and compassion. Years passed, and Illyra's kingdom continued to flourish. The hearts of light were safeguarded by the Council of Guardians, and the eternal flame remained a symbol of hope and life. Illyra herself became a revered figure, her wisdom and compassion earning her the love and respect of her people. Yet, as time went on, new challenges emerged, and the kingdom faced threats both old and new. One such threat came in the form of a mysterious cult known as the Shadow Hand. The cult's origins were shrouded in secrecy, their motives hidden behind layers of deception. What was known, however, was that they sought to harness the power of the hearts of light for their own nefarious purposes. The cult believed that by corrupting the hearts they could plunge the world into eternal darkness and chaos. The Shadow Hands' activities began to spread across the kingdom, their influence growing with each passing day. They targeted key locations, spreading fear and discord among the populace. The Council of Guardians worked tirelessly to counter the cult's actions, but the Shadow Hands members were cunning and elusive. Illyra knew that she had to take decisive action to protect the kingdom and the Hearts of Light. Illyra assembled a group of her most trusted allies, a team of skilled and dedicated individuals who had proven themselves time and again. Together, they set out to uncover the Shadow Hands' true intentions and put an end to their schemes. Their journey took them to the farthest reaches of the kingdom, where they encountered both friends and foes, and uncovered hidden secrets that had been buried for centuries. As they delved deeper into the mystery, Illyra and her allies discovered that the Shadow Hand was led by a powerful sorcerer named Zarek. Zarek was a master of dark magic, his abilities rivaling even those of Morgana. He had spent years studying the Hearts of Light, seeking to bend their power to his will. His ultimate goal was to create a new heart, one that would embody pure darkness and grant him unparalleled power. Illyra knew that Zarek's plan had to be stopped at all costs. The creation of a heart of darkness would upset the delicate balance between light and dark, plunging the world into chaos. She and her allies tracked Zarek to his hidden lair, a fortress of shadows located deep within the mountains. The journey was perilous, but their determination and unity saw them through. Upon reaching Zarek's fortress, Illyra and her allies were confronted by a series of deadly traps and powerful guardians. Zarek had anticipated their arrival and had prepared accordingly. The group fought their way through, their skills and teamwork allowing them to overcome each obstacle. As they approached the inner sanctum, the air grew heavy with the oppressive presence of dark magic. Inside the sanctum, Zarek stood before an altar, the components for the Heart of Darkness laid out before him. His eyes gleamed with malevolent intent as he chanted incantations, the air crackling with dark energy. Illyra and her allies burst into the chamber, their arrival interrupting the ritual. A fierce battle ensued, with Zarek unleashing his full power against them. Illyra faced Zarek head-on, their magic clashing in a dazzling display of light and dark. The walls of the sanctum shook as their spells collided, the very air humming with energy. Illyra's allies fought off Zarek's minions, their determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming odds. The battle was intense, but Illyra's resolve and the power of the Hearts of Light gave her the strength to stand against Zarek. In a moment of pure focus, Illyra channeled the energy of the eternal flame. A blinding radiance enveloped her, her magic merging with the pure light of the flame. She directed this power at Zarek, the light piercing through his dark defenses. Zarek screamed in fury and pain as the light consumed him, his form dissolving into nothingness. The ritual was disrupted, and the components for the Heart of Darkness were destroyed. With Zarek's defeat, the Shadow Hand's influence began to wane. The cult's members scattered, their leader's death breaking their will. Illyra and her allies returned to the kingdom, their mission successful. The people rejoiced, their faith in Illyra and the Council of Guardians reaffirmed. Illyra knew that the kingdom would continue to face challenges, but she was confident that they could overcome them. The Hearts of Light remained safe, their power a beacon of hope in a world that had been threatened by darkness. Illyra's leadership and the unity of the people ensured that the kingdom would thrive, guided by the principles of compassion, wisdom, and strength. The story of Illyra and her allies became a legend, passed down through generations. Their courage and determination inspired countless others, reminding them that even in the face of great darkness, the light would always prevail. The hearts of light continued to guide and protect the world, their radiant energy a testament to the enduring power of hope and unity. As the years went by, Ilara's kingdom continued to prosper, its people united under her wise and compassionate rule. The hearts of light remained safeguarded, their power a constant source of hope and inspiration. The Council of Guardians, ever vigilant, worked tirelessly to protect the balance between light and dark. Yet, despite their best efforts, new threats continued to emerge, testing the strength and resilience of the kingdom. One such threat came from a distant land, where a powerful warlord named Kale had risen to power. Kale was a ruthless and cunning leader, his ambitions driven by a desire for conquest and domination. He had amassed a vast army, composed of fierce warriors and dark sorcerers, and his eyes were set on Ilara's kingdom. Kale believed that by capturing the hearts of light, he could achieve ultimate power and reshape the world in his image. Kale's forces marched across the land, leaving destruction in their wake. The people of the kingdom were caught off guard, their sense of security shattered by the sudden invasion. Ilara and the Council of Guardians mobilized their defenses, determined to protect their home and the hearts of light. The kingdom was plunged into a state of war, the clash between light and dark reaching a new and devastating scale. Ilara took to the battlefield, leading her forces with courage and determination. Her presence inspired the soldiers, their loyalty and resolve strengthened by her leadership. The battles were fierce and brutal, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Ilara's magic was a beacon of hope, her spells bolstering the defenses and repelling Keel's dark sorcerers. Despite their efforts, Keel's forces continued to advance. He was a master strategist, his tactics cunning and unpredictable. Ilara knew that they needed to find a way to turn the tide of the war. She and the Council of Guardians devised a plan to strike at the heart of Keel's power, to confront him directly and end his ambitions once and for all. Ilara and her most trusted allies embarked on a dangerous mission to infiltrate Keel's stronghold. The journey was fraught with peril, as they navigated treacherous terrain and faced relentless attacks from Keel's minions. Their determination and unity saw them through, their bond a source of strength in the face of overwhelming odds. Upon reaching Keel's stronghold, they were confronted by the warlord himself. Kale was a formidable opponent, his dark magic and combat skills unmatched. The final battle was intense, with Ilara and her allies giving their all to defeat him. The clash of light and dark filled the air with energy, the ground shaking under the force of their blows. Ilara faced Kale in single combat, their duel a testament to their strength and resolve. Keel's power was immense, but Ilara's determination and the support of her allies gave her the edge. With a final, powerful spell, she unleashed the combined energy of the hearts of light. The radiant light enveloped Kale, purging the darkness from his soul. He fell to the ground, defeated and broken. With Keel's defeat, his forces began to retreat. The kingdom's defenders rallied, driving the invaders back and reclaiming their land. The people rejoiced, their faith in Ilara and the Council of Guardians stronger than ever. The kingdom was saved, but the scars of war would take time to heal. Ilara knew that the victory had come at a great cost. The battles had left their mark on the land and its people, and the process of rebuilding would be long and arduous. But she was confident that they could overcome any challenge, guided by the principles of unity, hope, and resilience. In the aftermath of the war, Ilara continued to lead with wisdom and compassion. She worked to restore the kingdom, mending the wounds left by the conflict and ensuring that the hearts of light remained protected. The Council of Guardians grew stronger, their dedication to their duty unwavering. The story of Illyra and her allies became a legend, a tale of courage and determination that inspired future generations. The hearts of light continued to shine, their radiant energy a beacon of hope in a world that had faced darkness and emerged victorious. The kingdom flourished, guided by the enduring power of light and the unwavering belief that together they could overcome any challenge. As the years passed, Illyra's legacy continued to grow. Her leadership and the unity of the people ensured that the kingdom would thrive for generations to come. The hearts of light remained a symbol of hope and resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light would always prevail. The story of Illyra and the hearts of light would be told for centuries, a testament to the power of hope, unity, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. And in the hearts of the people, the light of Illyra's courage would continue to burn brightly, a beacon of hope and inspiration in a world that had been touched by darkness and emerged stronger than ever. The kingdom had flourished under Illyra's rule, and the hearts of light had continued to shine as beacons of hope and resilience. Yet, even in times of peace, the echoes of past conflicts lingered. The memory of battles fought and sacrifices made served as a constant reminder of the delicate balance between light and dark. Illyra knew that vigilance was essential to maintaining this balance and ensuring the kingdom's continued prosperity. One day, a mysterious visitor arrived at the palace. She was a woman of ethereal beauty, with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. She introduced herself as Lyra, a guardian from a distant realm known as the Celestial Haven. Lyra had come to Illyra with a dire warning. A new threat was rising, one that could upset the balance of light and dark not only in Illyra's kingdom, but across all realms. Lyra explained that an ancient and powerful being named Erendor had awakened from his slumber. Erendor was a primordial entity, a force of darkness that had been sealed away eons ago by the combined efforts of the Celestial Guardians. His awakening threatened to unleash chaos and destruction on an unprecedented scale. Lyra had been sent to seek Illyra's aid, for the hearts of light held the key to stopping Erendor. Illyra understood the gravity of the situation and agreed to help. She and Lyra formed an alliance, their shared goal to prevent Erendor's return to power. Together, they gathered a team of skilled warriors, mages and scholars, each chosen for their unique abilities and unwavering dedication to the cause. The journey ahead would be perilous, but they were united in their resolve. Their quest took them to the farthest reaches of the world, through enchanted forests, ancient ruins, and treacherous mountains. Along the way, they encountered allies and adversaries, each encounter adding to the complexity of their mission. They uncovered fragments of forgotten lore, piecing together the history of Erendor and the means to stop him. As they delved deeper into the mystery, they discovered that Erendor's awakening was not a random event. A cult of dark sorcerers, known as the Harbingers of Night, had been working tirelessly to break the seals that bound him. The Harbingers sought to harness Erendor's power to reshape the world in their image, a world where darkness reigned supreme. Illyra and her allies faced numerous trials, battling the Harbingers and their dark magic. The stakes grew higher with each confrontation, the threat of Erendor's return looming ever closer. Yet, despite the challenges, their determination never wavered. Illyra's leadership and the unity of the group saw them through, their bond a source of strength in the face of overwhelming odds. The final confrontation took place at the ancient temple where Erendor had been sealed. The temple was a place of immense power, its walls adorned with runes that pulsed with otherworldly energy. The air was thick with tension as Elira and her allies faced the Harbingers in a battle that would determine the fate of all realms. Erendor's dark presence was palpable, a force that seemed to sap the light from the very air. The Harbingers chanted incantations, their voices rising in a crescendo as they sought to break the final seal. Elira knew that they had to act quickly. She called upon the power of the Hearts of Light, their radiant energy filling her with a sense of purpose and strength. The battle was fierce and chaotic, with spells and weapons clashing in a dazzling display of light and dark. Elira and Lyra led the charge, their combined magic creating a barrier of light that held back the darkness. The Harbingers fought with a ferocity born of desperation, but Ilara's resolve and the unity of her allies proved to be their undoing. In a moment of pure focus, Ilara channeled the full power of the Hearts of Light. A blinding radiance enveloped the temple, the light pushing back the darkness and sealing Erendor's presence once more. The Harbingers screamed in defiance as their dark magic was unraveled, their plans thwarted by the power of the light. As the light faded, the temple was silent. The threat of Erendor's return had been averted, the balance between light and dark preserved. Ilara and her allies stood victorious, their faces reflecting both relief and exhaustion. The Hearts of Light had once again proven their power, their radiant energy a beacon of hope in a world that had faced the brink of destruction. Returning to the kingdom, Ilara and her allies were greeted with celebration and gratitude. The people rejoiced, their faith in Ilara and the Hearts of Light reaffirmed, the alliance with Lyra and the Celestial Guardians strengthened, their shared victory a testament to the power of unity and cooperation. Ilara knew that the challenges would continue, but she was confident in their ability to overcome them. The Hearts of Light remained a symbol of hope and resilience, their power a reminder that even in the face of great darkness, the light would always prevail. The kingdom flourished, guided by the principles of compassion, wisdom, and strength. The story of Ilara and her allies became a legend, passed down through generations. Their courage and determination inspired countless others, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, the light would always shine. The Hearts of Light continued to guide and protect the world, their radiant energy a testament to the enduring power of hope and unity. As the years passed, Ilara's legacy continued to grow. Her leadership and the unity of the people ensured that the kingdom would thrive for generations to come. The Hearts of Light remained a beacon of hope, a symbol of the enduring strength of the human spirit. And in the hearts of the people, the light of Ilara's courage would continue to burn brightly, a testament to the power of hope and the unyielding belief that together they could overcome any challenge. Years had passed since the defeat of Erendor and the Harbingers of Night. The kingdom continued to thrive, its people united under Ilara's wise and compassionate rule. The Hearts of Light remained safeguarded, their power a constant source of hope and inspiration. Yet, as the kingdom flourished, new challenges and opportunities arose, shaping the destiny of the realm and its people. Ilara had grown older, her hair now streaked with silver, but her spirit remained as strong and determined as ever. She had guided the kingdom through countless trials, her leadership and wisdom earning her the reverence and admiration of her people. The kingdom was a beacon of prosperity, its fields lush and its cities bustling with life. Yet, even in times of peace, Ilara knew that vigilance was essential. The world was ever-changing, and the balance between light and dark remained delicate. One fateful day, a new threat emerged from the depths of the unknown. A mysterious rift had appeared in the fabric of reality, an ominous tear that pulsed with dark energy. Strange creatures began to emerge from the rift, their forms twisted and malevolent. These beings, known as the Voidborn, were unlike anything the kingdom had ever faced. They wreaked havoc wherever they went, their presence a source of fear and confusion. Illyra summoned her council and her most trusted allies to address the crisis. Lyra, the celestial guardian, who had aided them before, returned to offer her assistance. The rift, she explained, was a manifestation of a cosmic imbalance, a tear between dimensions that had been caused by an ancient curse. To close the rift and prevent further incursions, they would need to perform a powerful ritual that required rare and potent artifacts. The search for these artifacts took Illyra and her team across the world and beyond, to realms that were hidden and forgotten. They encountered ancient beings, long-forgotten civilizations, and enigmatic sages who held the knowledge and relics they sought. Each artifact they recovered brought them closer to their goal, but also posed its own set of challenges and dangers. One of the artifacts was the Mirror of Eternity, a mystical relic that could reflect and dispel dark magic. It was said to be hidden in a labyrinthine cave guarded by a dragon of immense power. Another was the Amulet of Time, which could manipulate the flow of time itself, hidden in a realm of eternal twilight guarded by time-shifted creatures. Each quest tested their strength, resolve, and unity, but their determination never faltered. As they gathered the artifacts, they discovered that the rift was not merely a natural phenomenon. It had been deliberately created by a powerful sorcerer named Malakar, who sought to plunge the world into chaos and seize control of all realms. Malakar had been imprisoned in an ancient prison beyond the veil of reality, but his followers had managed to release him, allowing him to unleash the Voidborn upon the world. Illyra and her allies prepared for the final confrontation with Malakar. They traveled to the heart of the rift, a place of swirling shadows and unstable energy. The rift was a chaotic maelstrom, its dark power threatening to consume everything in its path. The final battle was a fierce struggle, with Malakar wielding dark magic and commanding the Voidborn in a desperate bid for supremacy. Illyra and her allies fought valiantly, their magic and skills combining to push back the tide of darkness. The artifacts they had collected proved crucial in their efforts. The Mirror of Eternity reflected Malakar's dark magic, neutralizing his most potent attacks. The Amulet of Time allowed them to manipulate the flow of battle, turning the tide in their favor. The battle reached its climax as Illyra faced Malakar in single combat. Their duel was a clash of light and dark, their powers intertwining in a dazzling display of energy. Illyra's connection to the hearts of light gave her strength, her magic a beacon of hope in the swirling chaos. With a final, powerful strike, she unleashed the combined energy of the artifacts and the hearts of light. The light surged forth, enveloping Malakar and the rift, sealing them away and restoring balance. The rift closed, its dark energy dissipating. As the Voidborn were banished, the world was saved, the balance between light and dark preserved. Illyra and her allies emerged victorious, their faces reflecting both relief and exhaustion. The kingdom and all realms were safe once more, their future secured by the bravery and determination of those who had fought to protect it. Returning to the kingdom, Illyra and her team were hailed as heroes. The people celebrated their victory, their faith in Illyra and the hearts of light reaffirmed. The artifacts were placed in a secure sanctuary, their power a reminder of the trials they had faced and the unity that had seen them through. Illyria continued to lead with wisdom and compassion, her legacy growing with each passing year. The kingdom thrived, its people united by the principles of hope, strength, and resilience. The Hearts of Light remained a symbol of the enduring power of unity and the unyielding belief that even in the darkest of times, the light would always prevail. The story of Illyria and her allies became a legend, passed down through generations. Their courage and determination inspired countless others, reminding them that together they could overcome any challenge. The Hearts of Light continued to guide and protect the world, their radiant energy a testament to the power of hope and the strength of the human spirit. As the years turned into decades, and the decades into centuries, the memory of Illyria's reign and the trials she had faced became a cherished part of the kingdom's heritage. The people of the realm lived in peace and prosperity, their lives touched by the legacy of their great leader. The Hearts of Light shone brightly, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the enduring power of light. And in the hearts of the people, the light of Illyria's courage and the warmth of her legacy continued to burn brightly, a testament to the power of hope and the belief that together they could overcome any darkness that might arise. The moral of the story is that unity, courage, and hope can overcome even the darkest challenges. Through the trials faced by Illyria and her allies, the tale illustrates that when individuals come together with a shared purpose and unwavering resolve, they can prevail against seemingly insurmountable odds. The story emphasizes the enduring power of light and goodness, and the importance of protecting and nurturing these values to maintain balance and harmony in the world. Even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the light of hope and the strength of unity will always guide and sustain us.